BREEDLOVE craftsmen are closing in on their 15,000th instrument, and every single one of them has followed a specific process that guarantees the production of the finest guitars and mandolins. The construction of fine instruments is a delicate process and requires unique machinery. The craftsmen at BREEDLOVE not only construct fine instruments, but they also develop and invent their own tools and machinery that are engineered for specific tasks. Every custom tool that is created has a specific use, and each one is instrumental in providing the best tone for each type of guitar. The parts department is where all the individual components for an instrument are made. There are 3 different disciplines in this area. The first is raw wood processing, the second is the CNC, and the third is bending and bracing operations. Raw wood processing involves stacking, drying, and prepping woods and finding specific pieces to shape into strong and smooth necks that are a trademark of the BREEDLOVE instrument. It also involves the milling of wood to create the unique book-match sets that comprise the top and backs of the guitar. The second phase is the CNC processing. During this phase, the raw wood materials begin to be shaped into the precise dimensions that are critical in the construction process. Mandolins, guitar necks, instrument bridges, fretboards, and a number of other small pieces begin to take form here. Every single part that is created must meet exacting standards of quality in order to make it on one of our fine instruments. Bending the side woods for an instrument is probably one of the most difficult and interesting processes that takes place in this area. The perfectly smooth and curved sides of an instrument start out flat. A skilled luthier must exhibit his experience and patience while carefully bending stiff, thin pieces of wood into beautifully smooth guitar shapes. This is achieved through the use of moisture, heat, and pressure. By performing the initial bend of the wood accurately, we are changing the molecular structure of the wood itself. This gives the wood a new form and shape that it will maintain forever. The final stage of the parts department involves bracing the top and back for its unique voicing. By bracing the top, we provide structural integrity that allows the guitar top to withstand the tension of the string pressure and enhances the instrument's tone. Once an instrument is shaped and the parts have been created, it goes through a build, bind, and scrape-out process, essentially sealing the end grain, providing an aesthetic appeal and closing up the instrument to give us a solid, raw body. This part of the process is where all the pieces begin to fit precisely together. Once an instrument is bound, it will sit, secured with tape, overnight. When the tape is removed the following day, the instrument will be carefully scraped and sanded down to a final raw finish, and will undergo a final inspection before it is allowed to move on. Working in close unison with the parts and body departments is the neck department. BREEDLOVE necks are perfectly smooth, and their shape and strength must be carefully considered for each instrument. Every neck is filed, sanded, and shaped carefully, and then built up to fit on a guitar body. Once this process is complete, it will undergo an inspection. If it passes, it will be attached to the body it was built for, thus setting the geometry, before the instrument is passed on to the finish department. The finish process takes about 2 weeks and consists of many carefully applied layers that are sanded down after each application to eliminate any flaws. The detail of this process is measured at 100,000th of an inch. The process can vary slightly depending on the instrument and whether it is a high-gloss finish, toner application, sunburst application, or something even more custom. The finish process strengthens the instrument by providing a highly durable finish and by bringing out the beautiful figure depth of the amazing woods. A final round of buffing out the finish provides the instrument with the trademark BREEDLOVE high gloss finish. This is one of the most exciting aspects of the process because an instrument really begins to take on a personality and come to life. Of course, many hours have been invested in an instrument by the time it reaches this department, and the craftsmen here are especially careful to inspect an instrument before it is passed on and accept nothing less than perfection. After an instrument has been carefully built and finished, it finally arrives at final assembly and string-up, and spends 3 days being fine-tuned and adjusted to perfection. The bridge and neck are checked to be certain they have the appropriate geometry. The finish is carefully routed off the body to accommodate the bridge and create a wood-to-wood contact. The craftsman then radius the fretboard, apply the frets, nut, and saddle, as well as the tuning machines, and finally get the instrument to its first playable state. The craftsmen in this department have the privilege of hearing the first notes flow from the body and seeing the entire finished instrument for the first time. The instrument sits under tension overnight. On the final day in this department, it's dialed in one last time, and all of the appointments, the action, and the neck are inspected to make sure everything is set up to Breedlove's precise specifications. By the time a guitar or mandolin has reached final inspection, highly skilled craftsmen have spent countless man-hours working on an instrument. Final inspection involves roughly 35 different assessments. Once these have been passed, the guitar is packaged and sent to its new home where it can make beautiful music for many generations to come.